good. So in the last sessions, I think whatever we have learned related to NumPy arrays, flattening the arrays, and also how to deal with the unknown dimensions, copy and view options. We've checked the reshapes, reshaping the array, NumPy array reshaping. And also we did checked around yeah, view as well, right? What's the difference between copy and view? And converting data types in existing arrays, right? So we did check the NumPy data types. So that's what we have discussed. So NumPy, we have discussed the data types, array, copy versus view, shapes, and reshape. So this week, we'll just add more value to it. And okay, 440. Let's go to the line. I'm just adding everything into the same notebook file so that it will be easy. So from class 1 to class 8, it will be in one single notebook file. So we got NumPy iteration. Okay. We discussed the NumPy array iterations also, like using the for loop, we can go through all the elements and display it. That's what we discussed. And the same case with the 2D arrays and 3D arrays. So here in this case, again, little bit more on iterating arrays using ND iter. So this is again, here we are written this 4 lines of code, right? Import numpy as NP, and we got the array elements over here, right? So here the advantage. So what we're trying to do is iterate through the following 3D array. So 3D, how I'm saying 3D in the sense, so 1 to 2, it is a single dimensional array. If I got the braces over here, there's like a double dimension, and once you have this over here, it's a 3D array. So here we want to print all the elements within this list, array list. So here iterating array using endit, right? So I got yeah, one more student as well. Okay, the function end iter is a helping function that can be used from very basic to very advanced iterations. It solves some basic issues which we face in iteration. Iteration is nothing but the loop, like in for loop. For loop, when I say something, this is again the iteration only. However, we're using the function over here, but it's a loop iteration. So it solves some basic issues. There are some certain issues while using the loops. To overcome that, okay, in basics for loops, iterating through each scalar of an array, we need to use n for loops, right? So which can be difficult to write for arrays with very high dimensionality. So here, what we are writing is we are defining an array equals to np dot array of the elements for x in np dot nd iter array. So when we say print of x, okay, when I run this, so it is printing all the elements from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the elements. It's not skipping any element at all. So that is what the advantage. Let's see some more examples. So here, okay, okay, let me try this example. Okay, so here, what is happening over here? Array equals to np dot array, right? So here, this time I'm saying for x in array, print x. So this time we're just printing the array. So it is trying to separate the elements 1 to 2 here, like in single dimensional array, again 3 to 4. Okay, again from here to here, again it's a double dimension, right? 2 dimensional. Again, then again 5 to 6, or 5, 6, and 7, 8, right? So you can see the difference. So in this case, when I said x in np dot end iter array, it's printing just the elements of the array. In this case, it is picking up the dimensions, right? It's a 1D, or it's like a 2D, okay, and it's separating them. Just, it's not like in single line, it's separating them and showing it up. Okay, so let's have a comment here. What do you think, Ayan? Do you think do you got any other things to say in this case? Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Yeah. So it's like it's picking about two elements, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8. So just trying to show the difference, how it is different in editor and with a normal array. So let's take one more example. So here, iterating array with different data types. So what we're trying to do over here, we can use op underscore d type, right? So we're using here. So that is equals to yes. So argument. So we can use op underscore d type argument and pass it to the expected data type to change the data type of elements while iterating. So what you are also saying is NumPy does not change the data type of the element in place where the element is an array. Okay. So it needs some other space to perform this action. That extra space is called buffer. Okay. So, and in order to enable it in end iter, we pass the flag buffered. So this is what we are using this. There's a flags equals to buffered. So example, what we're trying to say, iterate through the array as a string. So here, let's run this. Okay. So here, import an np dot as an import numpy as np. That's a command line. Array equals to np dot array of 1, 2, 3. Right. So just in the example, previous example, when we say print x will be like an end iter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the same case, we are getting this 1, 2, 3 elements, but here we are saying print x in np dot end iter array flags equals to buffer. And so what we are trying to do here is the data types. So it's like a string ones, right? So what it is giving within the codes, it's not simply typing 1, 2, 3, right? It is giving us 1 within the codes, 2 within codes, and 3 in these codes, right? And B, I think it will be referred as a buffer, right? Is that right? And so we pass the flag. Yeah. So that's what we referred here. So we pass flags equals to buffered. So that's the reason it's representing as B for the buffer. So it will be storing internally, right? So it says, so it needs some space to perform this action. That extra space is called a buffer. So within the codes, since we are defining here as strings, so we're not taking them as numbers, 1, 2, 3 numbers. We are taking them as a string format. So that's the reason we're getting the codes, right? So let's take one more example. Iterating with different step size. So step, uh, if you remember, okay, we'll run this and give the example. We can use filtering and followed by iteration. So example, iterate through every scalar element of the 2D array, skipped one element. So look at this example, array, NP array. So this is one dimensional array. This is another dimensional array. So overall it's a 2D array, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we need to display all the 8 elements, but we're getting only 4 elements. Why? That means we are using the step, right? So for X in NP end iter array, so this option colon we are given comma again colon again 2. So this is a method which we apply for the step. If you look for the previous examples in week 4 and 5, we have discussed about the step. So first element is been displayed here. Okay. So here 1 and then 3. The reason is given as 2 step, right? 1 and 3. And after 3, we are not displaying 4 and 5, right? Again 5 and again 7, right? So you got 1, second is skipped, and 3, okay, and fourth one skipped, then again 5, then sixth one skipped, again 7, right? So this is what. So I can add one more to it also, but in the sense, let me try like that. let me add in over here. So this time I would say 9, 10, 11. I think the insert has been on. Okay. And 12, right? So let me run it, right? So have a look at this example. So earlier it was until 7. So 8 is been skipped, then again 9. After 9, 10 been skipped, and 11. So the method which we're trying to use to skip the next value is for x in np dot. When we said nd iter, so we're getting the values only from the array. It's not displaying the array format, only the values, and we are using the option to skip the following element. So 1 and then 3 and then 5, 7, 9 and 11. So we we may get an example to list out the candidates information, like an hall ticket information or something like that, or the people who have passed or something like an alternative. There might be some example we may come across. So in that case, we can use this for loop option and this methodology to display the elements. So it's one of the best example, I would say. So iterating with the different step size. So we can still use 3 also if you need to use 1 and then directly instead of 3, 4 step level, we can increase as well. If you increase the step level, it will be changing the values, right? So here, let's take one more example. Enumerated iteration using end enumerate. So enumeration means mentioning sequence numbers of something one by one. So in the same case, here it's printing 1, 2, 3. But what's happening here is sometimes we require corresponding indexing, like in it. As I always say, right, starting with 0, starting with 0. So this is what 1 means 0th index, 2, 1, index 1, 3, the index 2, right? So just in case, if I say comma 4, comma 5, and let me rerun it. Okay, see what's happening. So this is like an 0th index, first index, second index, third index, and fourth index. So these are all like the index values. So within Python, it will be storing in that format. So whatever we say, okay, for idx comma x in np dot and nd enumerate. So when we're trying to print the idx, will be like an index value. It is trying to print the index value. So this is what the 0th index value, and it is printing the value from the array. So if I say simply say nd index value and x is, so x is something like what is happening is, since we are using the for loop, it is creating the loop and then printing up the values. So if you think that, oh no, I don't want to the for loop just print the values, you can straight away print the values, and Python will give the index value accordingly, right? So that can also be done. So let's take one more example to print the index values. Enumerate of following 2D array. So here it is only like if you look at the number of brackets, right? So we got opening and closing only. So we don't have 2 brackets over here. So we got here 1, 2, 3, 4 is a one-dimensional array. 5, 6, 7, 8 is another one-dimensional array. So overall, we have the opening and closing over here. So now it's become the 2-dimensional array. So in the same case, the same steps we are repeating here, but this time it is coming up with the index values. So these are all like 0, 0. This one is 0, 0, and this one is 0, 2, right? So this one is a 0, say 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3. So look at these values, right? So here what is happening is, so not only it's talking about the index, but it is also saying which array. This is array 0 and this is array 1. It is also giving us the information like from where the element is coming from. If I pick 7, that means this is the 0th dimension, like an index which has been assigned for the with this dimension 0th one, and this one has been assigned as 1 for the second dimension. So when I say 7, 1 comma 2, how it's saying 1 comma 2 means again here 0 1 2. So 0 1 2 will be these elements 5 6 7, and this 0 and 1, it denotes that from which array it's trying to pick the value. That's what. So we're just trying to differentiate the values between the dimensions, the 0th dimension and also like an first one. So both the cases. So we just try to display the values. So let's take one more example. And I think with the enumeration and all, we're done with that one. So now what will happen if you want to join the arrays? NumPy joining arrays. So joining NumPy arrays. Okay. So either you twist it NumPy joining arrays or joining NumPy arrays or whichever, it's all the same. We're talking about joining means putting contents of 2 or more arrays in a single array, right? So here, what we're trying to do, we're giving the array defining as np.array 1 2 3. Array 1 equals to np.array 4 5 6. And now what we are using the function over here is concatenate. So when I say array equals to np.concatenate array 1 comma array 2, so it is picking up the value 1 2 3 and displaying it over here. Then again 4 5 6 and displaying. So we got two individual single dimensional arrays, but at the end the value has been concatenated and brought up into one single dimensional array with all the values. So this concatenate function will help us. So that's what it's trying to join. Joining means putting contents of 2 or more arrays in a single array. So in SQL, if someone knows SQL, structured query language, we join tables based on keys, whereas in NumPy, we join arrays by access. So you don't need to worry about this, but in SQL, we use we do join the tables based on the primary keys. So that's what we do. But in here, using NumPy, numerical Python, we use we join arrays by access. So we pass a sequence of arrays that we want to join to the concatenate function. So that's what. If you want to join two arrays, means you use the concatenate function along with the access. So if access is not explicitly passed, it is taken as 0. So here np.concatenate of array 1, this one, comma array 2. Simple. So this is for the single dimension. Let's do for double dimension. Join two 2D arrays along with rows. Axis starting with 1. So here what's happening here is when I run it, so it will be the same. Okay, array 1 equals to np.array. We got 1 2 3 4, right? And also array 2 np.array 5 6 7 8. So what it is doing, what the end results are 1 2 5 and 6. So why we're getting 1 2 5 and 6? That means so array equals to np.concat array 1 comma array 2. Since it is a 2D array, it won't go in this fashion 1 2 3 4 and then 5 6 7 8. No. So it will go, okay, here go the single dimensional. Okay, here go the single dimension. So it will finish off these levels 1 2 5 6. Then it picks up 3 4 and 7 8. Okay, so that is what the example here is, joining two 2D arrays along the rows, right? So and axis 1 will be like a starting way to start with. So 1 2 3 4. So here 1 2 5 6 and 3 4 7 8. So 1 2 5 6 is a one single dimensional array. 3 4 7 8 is another single dimensional array, and overall it's creating a 2D array here, right? So let's pick one more example, joining arrays using stack functions, right? So here instead of concatenate, we are using the stack, but look at the difference. So here 1 2 3 elements are there, here 4 5 6, But here what's happening is 1 4 2 5 3 6. So here using the stack function, so we're using np dot stack. So let's see what it is trying to do. Stacking is same as concatenation. The only difference is that stacking is done along with new access, right? So we can concatenate two 1D arrays along with the second axis, which would result in putting them on over the other, like stacks. Stacks, you could say, like boxes in a warehouse. When you have the if you look for the uh, um, biscuits or something like if you look for the if you go to a medical store, if you look for the heaps of boxes one top of the other, like that's called as a stack, right? So we pass the sequence of arrays that we want to join to the stack method along with the axis. So if axis is not explicitly passed, it is taken as 0. So so here we have got array 1 np dot array 1 2 3 and array 2 np dot array 4 5 6. So we're giving array 1 comma array 2, talking about np dot array axis 1. So here let's see what will happen to axis 0. Okay, let's run this. So look at this. What is happening. So when I said okay axis equals to 0, it is printing as it is, like 1 2 3 and 4 5 6. If you can look at the differences, so it is bringing up as it is. You got a single dimensional array, it's printing the single dimensional array as it is. You got again a single dimensional array, but the difference is that it is converting two single dimensional arrays and making this like a double dimensional array, right? So this is what the difference is, but three elements. So this time axis equals to 1. Let's run this. So look at this. So here we're getting like 1 and 4 as a one single dimensional array, 2 and 5 as another single dimensional array, 3 and 6 as another single dimensional array. Okay. So what is happening over here is when we use the stack function. So we have used the stack function. So what we are trying to do, import numpy as np, defining array equals to np dot array 1 2 3. Again the second array 2 np dot array 4 5 6. Array equals to np dot stack array 1 comma array 2 with axis 1. So with that it is picking up 1 and 4 combination, 2 and 5 and 3 and 6. So that's the reason it's talking about the axis value. If you put the axis value as 0, we have seen the differences, like it is picking up the values 1 2 3 and 4 5 6. When I give the axis value as 1, it's converting. Okay, so 1 4 2 5 and 3 6. So we need to make sure that what axis value to be given to display in the format, right? So let's take one more example, stacking along rows, right? NumPy provides a helper function. So this type helper function is nothing but here we call as hstack to stack along rows, right? So here what we have is 1 2 3 and 4 5 6. So this time we are giving as when you print the array equals to np dot hstack array 1 comma 2. So what you are getting here is 1 2 3 4 5 6. So we're getting a one single array with all the concatenated values. So along the rows, in the sense one single row, that's what it's trying to say. So this function is nothing but hstacks. So to get the values in this format. So if you don't want to have the fashion of applying this logic of axis, so we can simply say np dot hstack array 1 comma array 2, right? Arr 1 comma arr 2. So we can give one more example. So here we talked about rows, right? It's a single row. So here stacking along columns. So NumPy provides an helper function vstack. So this time we are talking about vstack to stack along the columns, right? So what's happening over here when we applied instead of hstack, we're applying as array equals to np dot vstack. array 1 and array 2. So this time we are getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You got two single dimensional arrays, and but in a column fashion, right? Uh, you might be knowing this in simple when you talk about Excel, or like in, if I say paint, right? Let me bring this. Okay, if I got a box here, so what I say is, if I say 1 here, 2 and 3, so this is something like one single column, right? You can say one single column with 3 rows, 1, 2, 3, right? So instead, if I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. So how many we have is, we got 3 by 3. Okay, first column, second column, third column, and rows also, first row, second row and third row, right? So we're talking about the rows and columns. So in the same format, here we are talking about columns. So here we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here in the single row, we got all the elements, right? But here we got the elements in a first single row and the second single row, but here we got in the format of columns, 1 and 4, 2 and 5, 3 and 6. So for that we get vstack, right? Use the function. So the same thing, okay, let's see stacking along height or the depth. NumPy provides a helper function dstack to stack along the heights, which is the same as depth. So here the same case, instead of vstack or hstack, the same thing, we're just changing it to np.dstack. So here, if you look at this example, so instead of having like 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, it's a 2D array, of course, but with 3 elements in it. Here we got only 2 elements in it. Okay, so the depth of these arrays, like a 1 and 4, 2 and 5 and 3 and 6. So here we are going with, what do you call this, a single dimensional or two dimensional or 3 dimensional? Any guess? So do you call it a single dimensional or 2 dimensional or 3 dimensional? So here we would say, since the number of open brackets and the number of closing brackets, so it has been converted into 3 dimensional. But here what we are trying to do over here is, so at the end of the day, stacking along height. Okay, that too using dstack. So we got a 3D array over here, and it's not in like in one single row or like in two rows. So we got a 3D array stack, right? It's like 1, 4, 2, 5 and 3, 6. So as we have used the dstack, right? So let's jump into splitting, how we are going to split the arrays, and we'll have something called joins also, and then sort. So not many to within this NumPy. So very few we got, and after that we can jump into this pandas. So NumPy splitting arrays, splitting NumPy arrays. What do you say? Splitting is reverse operation of joining, right? Joining merges multiple arrays into one, and splitting breaks one array into multiple. So we use array underscore split. So this is a function to split the arrays. So what we have is array equals to np.array 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now what I want to split is, I want to split this into 3 arrays, right? So new array equals to np.array split error comma 3. So when we use that function, it's splitting into array. So it's 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 4, 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. So since we have used array underscore split, so that's the advantage. So we use array underscore split for splitting arrays. We pass it to the array we want to split and the number of splits. So number of splits are 3, and we need to pass this array into array.split. So split the array into 3 parts. That's what we are trying to do over here. So how we can split into 3 parts given one single dimensional array, right? So let's pick one more example. So no, the return value is an array containing three arrays, right? So what we have is three arrays, but if the array has less elements than required, it will adjust from the end accordingly. Yes, this is what it is trying to do. How many elements we got here? Elements we got is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And how many splits I'm asking for? Splits, 4 splits I'm asking for. So when I'm asking for 4 splits, if it wants to split like this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we can't make 4 split. We can make like in 3 splits only. But instead, to make it as 4 splits, so what it is trying to say is, so array 1 and 2 made as 1 split, and 3 and 4 made as a second split. And instead of picking 5 and 6 into one array, it is saying array of 5 and array of 6. It is going to adjust accordingly. That is what the meaning. All right. So what we have done, the same thing, same function. The only difference is the value. Instead of 3, we are giving as 4. So this is a advantage of using array split and giving the values so that it can adjust it. Split the array in 4 parts. So that's what it has done. So what it is saying, note, we also have the method split available, but it will not adjust the elements when elements are less in the source. See, we got less number of elements in the source array for splitting, like in example above. Array split work properly, but split will fail. Yeah, this is what the advantage. We are not simply saying as split the array, right? We are not saying that just simply saying split the array. We are saying as array split, array underscore split, right? So array underscore split will work properly, but just split would fail. So that's what the note we're talking about. So split into arrays. So here one more example. The return value of the array split method is an array containing each of the split as an array. If the split, if you split an array into 3 arrays, you can access them from the results just like any array elements. That is true. So here what we are trying to do, input numpy as np, we are giving the array elements 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This time we are saying that new array equals to np dot array split array dot array comma 3. That means what it has to do, it has to do 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, 6, right? It has to bring these values. So here what we are trying to do is print new array of 0. So 1 and 2 will become this 0 category, and 3 and 4 the 1, and 4, 5 and 6 as 2, right? So print new array 1 or like 0, 1 and 2. So that's the reason. Just in case if I remove this, if I comment it, okay, and when I run, what will happen? See, I get only 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Obviously, only those those elements will be displayed. Why? Because even though it has split into 3 splits, okay. So what it has done over here, the same 3 parts, right? Even though it has created 3 parts, it is showing only 1, 2, and 3 and 4. The reason behind here we have given the comments over here. I'm saying as print new array of 2, but commented. When I remove the comment, so this time it will definitely print 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, 6. So this is one example like how we can reuse them. We can reuse for other purposes also, but just in case if you want to find which element you want to display over here, you can display. If you don't want those second and third elements, just put a comment, right? Use a shift and a comment hash. So in this case, it will print new array of 0. When I say 0, that means 0 and 1. So in general, when I say array split, it will split it to 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, 6. So there's one more example for split. Okay, splitting the 2D arrays, right? So splitting the 2D arrays, use the same syntax with splitting 2D arrays. Array underscore split, the same thing. Let me zoom it. I think it's visible, I think, right? Yeah. So this time, yeah, 2D. Splitting 2D arrays. Use the same syntax when splitting 2D arrays. Okay. Use the array underscore split method. Pass in the array you want to split and the number of splits you want to do. Okay. So here we are splitting giving the passing the array and number of splits equals to 3. And what we are getting here is what we have given 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have given all the single dimensional ones, and at the end we given the brackets, the 2D array. But we are asking to split 3 parts, right? So this one, yeah, 8. So what it is trying to say, right? So here, look at the brackets, opening and the closing brackets carefully. So 3 parts in the sense 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the reason I've been highlighting here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Say array. So this is the first part. 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? So 5, 6, and 7, 8. This is second part. And 9, 10, 11, 12. 9, 10, 11, 12. This is the third part. So it has split into 3 parts, the 2D array. So from here to here, here's a 2D array, one 2D array. Here to here is another 2D array, and here to here is another 2D array. So the function which we have used is np dot array split array comma 3. So it all depends on how many number of values you provide to the input. So if they are not in a proper way, it will adjust accordingly. But here we are to give in a proper method. So either we're passing the single dimensional array or we're passing a 2-dimensional array. So that's important. Based on that, it will understand and split the values. So we can have one more example. The example above returns 3 2D arrays. Yeah, that's what it did. This example has done the 3 2D arrays. So let's look at another example. So let me put a comment over here. So here, if I cut this, I'll put the comment over here. So that's a easy method to understand. The example above return 3 2D arrays. So here now what we are trying to do is let's look at another example. This time each element in the 2D array contains 3 elements. Split the 2D array into 3 2D arrays. Okay, let's see what it's trying to do. Okay, so look at this example, but don't get confused. So whatever the values which are passing here is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18. But we need to be careful with the number of opening brackets and closing ones. We got 3 elements in each dimension, and we got 1 to 18. This time np dot array split. So we got array comma 3, arr comma 3, and axis 1. So when you print this, so what we have asked is split the 2D array. Yeah, this is absolutely 2D array. We got opening and the closing brackets into 3 2D arrays. So look at this carefully. So here until here to here, one split. Okay. And from here to here, this is another split. And from here to here, this is another split. You got 3 splits. So and look at the values. How many values it has printed? We got 1, right? Then the 4, then the 7, then the 10, and the 13, and 16. So if you look at this carefully, what are the elements it is bringing up? All the first elements 1, 4, 7, 10, 13, and 16. And can you guess the second one? The second set will be 2, 5, 8, 11, 14, and 17. It will be called the second elements. And so if you go to the third set as well, all the third elements 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, and 18. So that's the reason we have set an axis 1, and it has divided into 3 sets, right? And look at the elements. So it is picking up all the first elements in the first case, second element in the second case, and third elements in the third case. So split the 2D array into 3 2D arrays along with the rows, along the rows. So that's a very good example, I would say. And Let's see, an alternative solution is using H-split, opposite of H-stack. So using the H-split method to split 2D arrays into 3D, into three 2D arrays along with the rows. The same method, but the only thing which has been changed here is instead of array underscore split ARR, so instead of this, okay, I'll just copy this. So I will add a line over here. So instead of array dot split, so this line, so it's going with H-split. So H-split can also give the same solution, same thing, same results. Okay, but the only thing is different that you're mentioning as H-split instead of array underscore split. Replaced with okay. So the difference. So what we are trying to replace it, and the values will be the same. There is no difference. Same one, all the first element 1, 4, 7, 10, 13, 16. Same thing 2, 5, 7, 11, 14, and 17. And the last elements like a 3 and 6 and a 9 and a 12, 15, and 17. So if you look at this third set, so you got the 3 sets, but the only difference is we have used a H-split. So at the end of the day, what I suggest is to note down in a notebook or a piece of paper, like all the just the functions. What does H-split does? What does array dot underscore split does? So that next time when you try to write a code, so that will be useful. So based on the function, we can say that okay, this is used for this, this is used for this, so that using H-split we get the values in this particular fashion, right? So that's the reason I'm putting in the comments also. These are all not necessary, but just in case if someone revisits the code after 2 months, so we can say okay, this is used, H-split is used to split the values. Okay, so that will be useful for understanding. So what we have got the note over here. Note similar alternative to VStack and DStack are available as a VSplit and DSplit. So there are multiple functions. That's what you're trying to say. So I think if you have anything, you can post the questions. Let me pause for 30 seconds. Okay, so let's pick another few examples. Let's see, we are at 461, right? So we got some more examples of arrays. Then sorting. Once we have the sorting, let's see what are the other examples. I've added some examples over here, like a sorting and the filter, and then the pandas, 478 onwards, pandas. So not many, just the sorting we are trying to deal with, sorting and the filter. Yeah, sorting and filter we'll be discussing, and where we are at line number, yeah, we talk about 460, right? Yeah, at 480 we'll be starting with the pandas. So we'll see how far we can cover today. If we just cover with the numpy, we'll finish off the numpys, and next week we can start with pandas. But I will give some little overview on pandas also before we close the session today. So numpy searching arrays. So if you want to search, so searching arrays, you can search an array for a certain value and return the indexes that get a match. To search an array, use the where method, right? So what we are trying to do is we are applying the where over here. Find the indexes where the value is 4. So here, let's run this. So here, what it's trying to say is we're giving the values ARR equals to array equals to np dot array 1, 2, 3, 4. See 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 4. Right? If here x equals to np dot where error equals to 4. So so what we are getting over here is, so print x. So to search the array, use the where. So what we have got over here is print x array of 3, 5, 6. We got 3, 5, and 6. So here 0, 1, 2, 3. Yes. Okay. So what we got here is they are not the values, right? So what is this? 0, 1, 2, and 3. So here the indexes, you need to look for the indexes. I'm not talking, see, find the indexes, he's saying. Find the indexes where the value 4 is. So if we highlight the 4 over here, 0th index, first index, second index, third index. Third index is 4. That's the reason it's printing the index value, third. Okay. Then fourth index is 5, but fifth index is 4. Sixth index is 6. The sixth index is also 4. So 4 we have highlighted, 4 we have highlighted over here, 4 we have highlighted. So when you look at these values carefully, you look for the index values. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 we can't print, and 5 and 6. So array with typing as 3, 5, 6, d type is the integer type, right? So data type, d type means data types, it's integer, it is 64. So what we are trying to do here, we are searching the values. How to search? We are going double equal to. That means 1 equals to 4, no. 2 equals to 4, no. 3 equals to 4, no. 4 equals to 4, yes. Then print the array index value. Then again 5 equals to 4, no. 4 equals to 4, yes. Print the index value. Then last 4 equals to 4, yes. Print the index value. So what we are trying to print is the index values, not the actual values in the array. But we are trying to find the array values. So let's take one more example. So this time, the example above will return the tuple array for 3, 5, 6. So here, which means that the value 4 is repeated at index 3, 5, 6. Okay. So this thing contained, I'll just remove this to avoid the confusion with this example. I'll just add this text over here. So this gives you clear information that the example above will return the tuple. So these ones 3, 5, 6. Okay, which means that the value 4 is present at the index of 3, 5, and 6. Right. So we'll look for the another example now. So what is happening here is, example, find the indexes where the values are even. That means simply you're talking about even numbers and the odd numbers. Okay. 2 is even number, 4 is even number, 6 is even number, and 8 is even number. But I don't want those values. What I'm trying to say, x equals to np dot where ARR percentage 2 means it's like 1 divided by 2 equals 0. 2 divided by 2 equals 0. Yes. So 3 divided by 2 equals 0. No. So this is, we are getting what we're getting is values, index values of 2, 4, 6, and 8. Look at these values carefully. 1 means index 0. It's not printing, it's printing as 1. That means 2 index 1, 4 index 3, 6 index 5, and 8 index 7. So how it is picking up the index values is, first of all, it's trying to divide 1 divided by 2. Is it equals to 0? 2 divided by 2 is equals to 0? Yes, matching. Then it is printing the index value. Right. So our task was to find the indexes where the values are even. So this is one of the good example. So let's take one more. Find the index value where the values are odd. Yeah. Can you guess what are the values will we get? You can get 1, 3, 5, and 7. But those index values. So what I said is 1, 3, 5, and 7. These values. But what we print is index values. So how are we going to get 1 divided by 2 equals to 1? Yes, the remainder will be 1. In the same case, 3 by 2. So here What is happening here is array of 0, 2, 4, 6. It doesn't mean that the values is printing. This is a 0th index, is a second index, is a fourth index, and this is sixth index. So we're getting the index values of the odd numbers 1, 3, 5, and 7. And the data type is integer only. 1, 2, 3, 4, they are integer, they're not float. So that's the reason the d type equals to integer. So let me run. So these are the values, right? The when we say array 0, 2, 4, 6, they are the index values. Okay, let's go to the next option of search. We got search and filter, the last topics. So search sorted, there is a method called search sorted. Okay, there's a function which performs the binary search in the array and returns the index where the specified value would be inserted to maintain the search order. The search sorted method is assumed to be used on sorted arrays. Okay. So example, find the indexes where the value 7 should be inserted. Okay, what I'm saying, import numpy as np array equals to np dot array 6 and 7, 8 and 9. Okay. So search, first it has to search. What I'm saying, x equals to np dot search sort. So search sorted array 7. So index value, this is 6 is index value 0 and 7 is index value 1. When I say print x means it has to print the index value of 7. That means 0th index and first index. So 1. That is what the value is. So what I'm trying to say is, what is the search sorted? That means just provide the index value. At what level? So tomorrow if I want to replace it, I can, first of all, I want to find what is this index value and then replace it. So that will be an easy method. Once I know at what index value the value is residing, so search sorted array of 7. So it is looking for the value 7, but we are printing the index value 0, 1, 2, 3, right? So the first index. So one more example. Example explain the number 7 should be inserted in index 1 to remain the sort order. The method starts the search from the left and returns the first index where the number is 7 is in 7 is no longer searched from the right side. Okay. So let me put this as a comment underneath this. Let me put this comment. Okay. So the above example, the number 7 should be inserted in index 1 to remain the sort order. So we are finding the index value, right? So the index value is 1. So we'll take one more example. So here, what we're trying to do here is x equals to np dot search sorted array of and the value 7 side right. So what it is trying to do, so the method starts the search from the left and returns the first index where the number 7 is no longer searched from the right. Okay, slightly you might getting confused, but don't worry. By default, the leftmost index is returned. That is right. The leftmost index in the sense, by default, when I say here, what I got is 1 means 0th index and first index, right? This is the first index. What will happen if I start giving the indexes from this side? 0th, first, and a second. That means from the right side, I want to give the index values. So why did I get the value 2 over here is, so this time I am saying x equals to np dot search sorted array comma 7 side right. So the meaning side right in the sense, so this is 0th index, first index, second index. So from right side, move in this direction. So 0, 1, 2, the second index value is 7. So we're asking, okay, what is the index value of 7 from the right side? Not from default, it will be from left side. So there is 0th index and the first index, but from the right side. So side That's the reason it says right side. You can by default it will be the left side, right? So example explain the number 7 should be inserted in index 2 to remain the sort order. Okay, so I will give these comments also underneath this. So what we're trying to give the example. Okay. So here we're giving, okay, this one goes to this example. Okay. So we know the index values, how to read from the left side or the right side. Okay. Let's take this one. So here, so this one is like for multiple values, multiple indexes. I want to bring it up. To search for more than one value, use an array with the specified value. Okay. Example, find the indexes where the values 2, 4, 6 should be inserted. Okay. 2, 4, 6. So here, so 2, 4, 6, like a 1. This is 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3. What is saying 1, 2, 3? So to search for more than one value, use an array with the specified value. So here, when I run this, so we're getting 1, 2, 3. X equals to np dot search sorted array 2, 4, 5. Okay, so it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, good. So just bear with me here. What I mean to say is, so it is so what is 1? 0th index, right? If it is 0th index, right, what is next is first index. So here, look for this type of example. If I put in this way, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Simple. Just 1 to 7, right? So when I type 1 to 7, look carefully. So this is the 0th index. And when we put these numbers in order, this is the first index, right? So 2, if I want to arrange them, and 2, if I want to insert here, so 2 will be the first index. That is what it's trying to print. And 3, we already have it here. Then the 4th, okay? Look at this, okay? 0, 1, 2. What do you say? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, 0, 1. Okay, let's see. It's like a tricky thing. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Right? So 1, 2, 3. Find the indexes where the values 2, 4, 6 should be inserted. Okay. So 1, 2, 3 in the sense. Okay. What it is trying to say here he is. So after the 0th index. So what it is trying to say, to search for more than one value, use an array with the specified value. So find the indexes where the values 2, 4, 6 should be inserted. So print x. So let's, yeah. Yes, 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 yes. That is what I'm saying. 2. We are getting 2. See, 2 is 1. It's printed. And 4. But here, little bit confusion. 4, it's to be inserted to 3. Yeah, I got 3 here. But 1, 2, 3. I think 1, I got 3, 3, and then 4, right? So we got. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yes, 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 yes. Once you add 2 over here, the index value will change. Yeah, that's the reason. Yeah, you're right. So in indirectly, but what we can say is once you look at these values, so we need to look for the index values. So that's the reason. So it is picking up the index values, right? It is picking up the index values. So what are the values? So how we're going to insert them and bring up the pick up the index values. Yeah, but Python it's treating in a different format, but in this sense it's 0th index, and then it's the first index, then the second index, and there's the third index. Yeah, so it will pick up the index values. Yeah, you're right. So the return values is an array 1, 2, 3 containing the three indexes where 2, 4, 6 would be inserted in the original array to maintain the order. Yeah, this is what it's trying to maintain. Yeah, it has to maintain the order. So that's the reason where 2, 4, 6 to be inserted. 2 and 4 and 6. Yeah. So let's pick up the another example. So NumPy, the sorting. Sorting the array. Sorting means putting elements in an order sequence, right? So ordered sequence is any sequence that has an ordered corresponding to the elements, like a numerical or alphabetical or ascending or descending. So we want to sort the numbers. So here the NumPy ND array object has a function called sort. So we are using np.sort, right? That will sort the specified array. We got 3, 2, 0, and 1. I want this sort to sort this array. So what I got the values is 0, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, absolutely. You got the values here 0, 1, 2, 3, but not in the order. But when I say np.sort, it's giving the sorted values 0, 1, 2, 3. Right? It's a simple way. So note this method returns a copy of the array, leaving the original array unchanged. Yes, that's good. So the original array will be there, but it's printing 0, 1, 2, 3, but in the sort order. You can also sort the array of strings. So this time we pick up strings or any other data types. Example, sort the array alphabetically. That means B for banana, right? And C for cherry and A for apple. So A comes first. Apple, banana, cherry, A, B, C. So when we sort this, what's happening is it is sorting these string variables, string values, and it is sorting apple, banana, and cherries. But since we given it the quotations, so np.sort, it will sort the strings also, that too in the ascending order. So let's take one more example, like a booleans. Booleans means true, false, or true, whatever. So here the same thing, print np.sort of array. So here we got A, B, C, D. When you talk about A, B, C, D, right? So first it's looking for the false and then the true and true, right? So the boolean sorts, it is picking up and it's sorting the values, right? Even though if I say one more false, and if I run this, I say false, false, and true, true, right? So if I add one more false, right? So this time when I sort it, so false, 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 and true, true. So that's what it's trying to sort it. So we got the last bit in the sort, sorting a 2D array. If you use a sort function of a 2D array, both arrays will be sorted. Sort a 2D array. In input numpy as np, what we're giving is we got 3, 2, 4 as one dimensional array, 5, 0, 1 as another one dimensional array. But here look at the values 3, 2, 4, 5, 0, 1. So when you sort it, what we're getting here is 2, 3, 4. So these elements been sorted. Again, in this element 5, 0, 1. So 0, 1, 5. So it will pick individual array and it will sort it individually. It's not like it is going to merge everything and sort. So that's the reason 2, 3, 4 and 0, 1, 5. It's sorting a two-dimensional array. So let's get into the last topic of filters, and the next session I will talk about pandas. So instead of this one picking up as we'll pick in the next session of week 9, and the same case I would be taking only five more minutes, not more than that. But where we are up to, we have given, yeah, we are sorted, right? So sorted the 2D array. I will give one or two examples, and after this, I'll say week 9 next week. So here NumPy filter. So what we are trying to do here is, so filtering arrays, getting some elements out of the existing array and creating a new array out of them is called filtering. So assume like you're filtering the values. What will happen? So in the same case, so let's look at the example, then you can go to the theoretical part. So we got arrays called 41, 42, 43, 44, and x equals to true, false, right? What values you got here? 41, and we don't have 42, we got 43. Why did we get only 41 and 43? Means we are saying true, then false, then true, then false. When we are giving a new array of array x, so it will look for only true values. 41 true, then print the array, then again false, it won't print, then again 43 get true, then print. That means you're filtering the values. So that's what we're trying to do. In NumPy, you filter an array using a Boolean index list. This is the key point. So we have given true, false, true, false. The reason behind is based on this, the values have been filtered. A Boolean index list is a list of Booleans corresponding to indexes in the array. If the value of an index is true, then the element is contained in the filter array. That's what it's been filtered. If it is true, if the value at the index is false, then that element is excluded. That means it won't display from the filtered array. So that's what I'm trying to say. If it is true, then the value is displayed. If it is false, it won't display this particular value. Wherever it says false and false, it won't display. It will display only the true values. Create an array from the element on index 0 and 2. So that is what is happening. So this is 0th index, first index, second, and third. So when you say x equals to true, false, false, so the 4 elements are there. So we given 4 times the values, true, false, true, false. So if there are 5, then we have to give 5, right? Just in case to add more information, like I've added false here, and this time I'm giving as false. What will happen here? Will it print or not? Okay, it is not printing. Why? Because I'm saying as false. And what will happen if I say true? And this time it will print, right? Yes. Say true, false, true, false, true. So 41, 43, and 45. So this is what the difference is. So what are all the true values are there? True, true, true. When I say true over here, true over here, true over here, it look for the index. The same index, yes, print. The same index, false, it doesn't print. And here also the same index, it prints. So the false, the corresponding indexes, it won't print. So the above example above will return 41 and 43. Why? Because the new filter contains only the values where the filter array had the value true, right? In this case, index 0 and 1, 0 and 2. Okay. Creating an okay, we'll give the last example. Okay, so let me pick it up. This notes, I'll put it over here. I'll give the comments over here. Let me give the comments. Okay. So creating creating the filter array. So in the example above, we hard coded the value true and false. That's what we have done here, true and false. But the common use is to create a filter. Sorry. But the common use is to create a filter array based on conditions. Okay. So what we are trying to do here is we can still look at this one next week also, but we are creating an empty list over here. The filter array will go through each and every elements in the array, 41, 42, 43, 44. And if the element is higher than 42, then set the value as true, and otherwise set the value as false. So this time we have hard coded the values over here, true, false, true, false, true. But here we are saying as if element is greater than 42, append the value true to the filter array to the list. We are creating a list over here based on the values. If it is greater, then true, else false. right? 42. So this one is not, then greater than 42, greater than 40, 43. So 44. So it will create, we are trying to create those true false, whatever the values over here that. So we are creating over here based on the loops, and then based on that, see here we are creating here false, false, true, true. That means why it is saying false, false? 41. 41 is greater than 42? No, false. 42 greater than 42? False. 43 greater than 42? Yes, true. 44 greater than 42? True. So we are creating those values false, false, true, true. Then based on that, it's picking up the values 43 and 44. The same thing, the same category we are printing over here. For example, if I remove this thing to get rid of the confusion, the last elements which I've added. Okay. So 41, 43. The same method over here, but here this time we're saying element 42, then it's picking up. So we're creating this booleans false, false, true, true, and based on that we're printing the values. So we got another two examples, two to three examples, same type. I'm going to share the notebook file. However, we'll be discussing those three examples in the next session, and then we'll talk about pandas. But to give a rough overview, pandas means again, pandas is a Python library. It's used to analyze the data. So we talk about the data, a lot of data like an Excel sheets, or like in notebook files, or like in flat files, or any kind of data. So we're going to read it and we're going to clean it. So the different sets, what we're trying to do will be like we call as series, pandas data frames. We talk about the CSV files. We talk about the JSON files, analyzing the data and cleaning the data. So once we complete these pandas, we are good to learn this Python. And the last portions will be like visualizations. How you're going to represent the data to the end client. End user will be saying that, okay, I want to have a graph. I want to have a dashboard, something. So how we are going to show that information in the graphical representation, that is called as a matplotlib and Seaborn, which will be using it for plotting, called as visualization. But to get into the last step of Python data science, so we need to learn about pandas, so that once we know about pandas, we can clean and uh, replace the data into this Excel sheet also. It's like more or less we are talking about the extraction of the data. We'll be pulling the data from the Excel sheet or a notepad file or a text format file. Then we'll read the data. We can also rewrite into the file as well, right? It's not just reading the file. We can write onto your file also. Those are all the concepts we'll learn. Pandas. So it's all related to data sets. Okay. We got something called library. So that's the reason we talk about import pandas. Just like previously we talked about import numpy, right? Import numpy as NP. This time we will use the function of pandas. So import pandas. So however, within Python, you guys have already installed or something. So if not, we'll discuss the points like how to install pandas also if it is not available. So we'll discuss pandas in the next session. So pandas introduction and things like a series, panda series, data frames, the cleaning and analyzing the data. So this is what we talk about in pandas week 9, the next week. And let's see how far we can go through that. And then week 10, we'll talk about matplotlib, worst case scenario, but depending upon the interest. Okay. And you can still share the questions onto the WhatsApp group, or you can send me the direct messages also if required, if you have the doubt. And thank you. It's taken 15 minutes extra today, and catch you up next week. Okay. Thank you very much.